Sportsters have just been around and been like the performance model forever, and now they're being overlooked.
That 200 horsepower ZX14, he's never had to take on 883 cc's of fury. So slow.
Old and busted, the new hotness. I'm gonna put enough nitrous on that Sportster to euthanize a small town, is what I'm going to do.
Nitrous it?
Oh yeah, lots. Lots. We got to ride the bike around a little bit. Now, everything feels pretty good. Stoked to get over to see Jason, get the bike on the dyno. Interested to see what it makes on the motor. I'm really not that concerned with the total horsepower number, more concerned with air fuel when we hit the spray.
All right, fellas. All right, what we'll do is we'll drive it around a little bit with a little bit of a load on the motor, raise our heat, get our cylinder head temperature up properly, so we get a totally 100% accurate reading. All right.
Too fat?
Yeah, a little bit too fat, which is hard to judge, you know what I mean? Right. We got wide open pipes and things, so let's just start pulling some fuel out of this thing, right? Mm-hmm. And get it dialed in so we can throw some nitrous to it. Let's see what we've created here.
I'm actually pretty impressed with what the bike makes on the motor. I was expecting a little bit less than that. I was expecting maybe 75 horse. We're making, I believe, 82, and I'm not really even pushing anything. Probably 85 horse out of this motor, but 82 horsepower motor with stock 883 heads, I'm pretty happy with. Now we really want to see what it makes on the spray.
Bottle pressure's a little low, but I think we just go with it for now.
We had to have big duration cams, wide open pipes for this nitrous. Right here, I hit it, it starts cranking, okay? The reversion goes up the pipe, it stays in the head, stays in the head, stays in the head. The motors just start spitting it out the ass end because of no back pressure in the cold air wave coming up the pipe, and then it gets it out, and then, so, you know, right there is the only area our main jet right now is tuning. But of course, once we throw the nitrous to it, that's all gonna change here in a few minutes.
A 3-second ramp, so it should be nice and easy going in there. Okay, 30%, 3-second ramp, stage duration, okay, save.
Woo! Well, I used to have a fire extinguisher in here.
That was a lot of smoke, a lot of fire, a lot of bad things. A lot of bad things happened. 1,000 points of light.
What did it get to before it let go? Not much. Not much.
No, not enough to even get a reading.
So we really need to get this thing back to the shop. We need to do a compression test on it, and that'll give us our first indication of like what, if anything, is hurt inside that top end.
Win some, you lose some.
Or we don't really know what's hurt. I know I pulled the plug and it's all melty looking. We definitely hurt something. The front plug, it burnt the porcelain off and part of the ground strap off. Actually put a fresh set of plugs in this and it fired up. Did a compression test and we're down on compression in both cylinders, a little more in the front than the rear. So there's nothing left to do than to tear this thing apart and check out the damage for real. The bottom line is we had like a nitrous backfire, which caught the air filter on fire. I know it looked really bad. It wasn't great, lots of smoke. The fire was just because we caught the air filter on fire. But now we've got some problems. We need to get this thing to the racetrack, and I have a top end that is clearly hurt. A little bit of scoring. It's like right along the edge here. You can see it, but you can really feel it. It feels like somebody took like a chisel to it, you know what I mean, and like chipped it all up. It's because we had some detonation going on there. And you can see the detonation out here. For a very, very streetable build, that was a lot of nitrous. This is the bad news part of this equation. This cylinder seemed to be cleaner than the other one. And actually the tune looked pretty good, but right here, we had a couple things happen. This looks like it came in contact with the cylinder head. And two, this part of the piston has been burnt off, basically. That's not good. I shouldn't be able to put that in there. So that is bad. That's the mark where that piston kissed that. Now, a couple things just off the top of my head. The fact that just that part hit that makes me think a ring broke off in there. Because it's really odd that it's just that one tiny mark. But let's pull a cylinder off there and then we'll see where we're at. Ooh. Will look like we have a engine rebuild in our future. Holy shit, that's why that hit that. Okay, you see this? Look at, that got hot. The top ringland of this piston, see how it's like a hump? It looks like it got hot and melted up. That's so weird. There you go, there's something I've never seen. We're gonna throw the exact same set of pistons back in there that we had, same head setup. So the smart money probably is to back the nitrous shot off at this point. Works good. We have more casualties from the dyno. Just bench testing everything here after we got the motor put back together. Had power to the controller, but the screen wasn't finding the controller. And it turns out that somehow in the dyno, I don't know exactly how it happened, but it smoked our nitrous controller, which means we were gonna go sans controller. The nitrous shot we had before wouldn't have been good to use without the controller. We backed it down a little bit. Shouldn't be as big a deal now that we don't have a controller, but what it means is we hit the button, all the nitrous is coming. There's no nice smooth ramp. We had to rebuild the bike after our dyno incident, so I took that opportunity to throw a couple extra things on there that I thought would be helpful to us. One, we were really battling that dip in the horsepower and torque there, about 3,500. So I was able to get a hold of a Bassani Road Rage and I put that on there, and that's really gonna help us actually launch the bike. Because when I launch the bike, it gets pulled down in the RPM range, and that Bassani will help flatten out our torque and our horsepower curve there. I put a nice PM 4-piston brake on the front. I mean, we've been thinking about going fast, but we need to get stopped, so that PM brake is just a little bit of peace of mind for me. The thing that I think might be the best thing was I threw a Pingle shifter on there, so I can shift it on a button. It'll keep me more consistent at the track, and it'll also be easier when I spray the nitrous. It's very hard to foot shift a nitrous bike. And then threw a Shinko on the back. It's a drag racing tire, it's stickier compound. I had a Metzler on there, which is a great tire. It's just not really meant for drag racing. Won't have to worry so much about wheel spin. So now I'm just stoked, man. Now I just want to get this thing to the track and see what it's all about. I just want to make a couple clean motor passes right out of the gate. Just a couple nice, smooth motor passes, get it to shift all the way down, and I'll be pretty happy. We'll come back in, kind of reassess, and then maybe put the boots to it with the spray. Ready as we're gonna get. Let's go find out. Let's see what she'll do. It'd be nice to have some test sessions, you know, just to get seat time on the bike and get my clutch set up right, get my suspension set up right, and then really get this thing dialed in. It's really, we're putting ourselves behind the 8 ball here to not succeed, but hey, we're here, so we're gonna let it rip. One thing I can tell you, even if we do blow it up, we will not be putting antifreeze on the track. the situation we're in with no testing, you know, it's a big hill to climb. We're really putting a lot of eggs in the basket of getting things right on the first time, which isn't typical. I know there's a ton more left in this bike. We are really winging it here.
.873 at 83.
Yeah.
Really left really soft. We're already almost 2 seconds faster than what we were. With a soft leave and just on the motor build, we knocked 2 seconds off an 1/8 mile time. That's pretty great. So that's a high 8. We leave harder and spray it, like we can maybe spray it into the low 8s. So I say we throw the bottle on it and let her eat. Honestly, we should be able to run into the 7s and the 8th on this little bike pretty easy. And the bike we just lost to had a 145-inch motor. Ours is 74 cubic inches.
So I needed to adjust riding style a little bit to get the bike out of the gate a little better. But really mechanically, as far as the first pass, I was pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to eat a couple more motor passes, but the way the track's been going tonight and had some oil downs and stuff, turn the nitrous on now. We're gonna go ahead and spray it. Hopefully our changes are for the better, and we get a nice, clean, fast pass here, but we're gonna turn the bottle on and give her a shot.
I'm genuinely nervous about spraying this bike this pass. I know that's what's going on. I erred on the side of caution on the bottle pressure, but playing through my mind is just the nitrous backfire on the dyno, the fire that is literally gonna be in between my legs if that happens again. So even though I'm nervous, I'm just concentrating on hitting everything clean, hitting my shift points, getting on the nitrous button, and then shifting down the track. The button, shift second, I stab the nitrous button, and man, it takes off. It just pulls like a freight train.
That shit definitely works. When nitrous works, it is an awesome feeling. And I kind of babied it. I got into it later than I wanted to, ran like a little bit low bottle pressure, but like 92 mile an hour. I don't know what our ET was. It was a low 8. Like I just watched an Indian Challenger out there with a pipe and some other mods on it go 850.
Challenger's a rad bike. I've ridden them. They're about as fast as bagger as you can buy off the showroom floor, and we just obliterated it with our $3,000 bike. So I do feel like I proved my point.
So I almost missed the shift down here. That's what the nitrous backfire was. You hear it backfire through the pipe. Move! I was like, oh!
I'm stoked. We went from a 68 mile an hour bike to a 94 mile an hour bike in the 8th. I think we could probably go 790s at 100 mile an hour in the 8th with a little more time. Which, you know, not bad for a $2,900 motorcycle.
What'd I tell you, Bagger? What'd I tell you? I was coming for you. It's just the beginning. It's only gonna get worse from here.
Go buy a $2,500 bike. Start throwing some go fast parts at it. Learn how to ride. It's a blast. Support your local racetrack. Go race it.